I would say we're fighting terror.
He just gave a speech the other day when he talked about the fact that they're not, we're not fighting a religion. He's talking about ISIS.
Yeah, but I mean, why won't he say the word Islam?
I don't know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the DNC annual winter meeting. And they're asking the question. Hey, I believe that's the Media Research Center doing that, if I'm not mistaken. Asking the question, why won't Obama say Islamic terror, Islam? Why can't he get those words out of his mouth? And what would you call it? They're asking these members at the DNC convention. And as you might expect, most of them, almost all of them, are in lockstep with Barack Obama. Watch.
They call themselves Islamic.
Well, I wouldn't say when you say Islamic terror, that puts that's saying that all people who are Islamic are engaged in terror.
No, that's not saying
that. Well,
that.
that's one way you can interpret that.
Islamic terror. Why won't the president use that term?
Affirmative action and inclusion programs.
We're in a different phase now.
I would call this a fanatical religious group who are, Islamic, but I would not say that Islamic terror is terror.
Fanatical religious group that's Islamic, but I would not call it Islamic terror. Okay, hey, there you go. That makes as much sense as anything I've heard. Talk about just blindly following your leader, as they are doing at the DNC. Here's more.
I watched shows this morning, and they're beating him up something awful about
on both sides. Well, why do you think that is? Why do you think he won't use that word?
Because he's the president, and that's a lot different than being, the Monday morning quarterback or somebody on TV.
Do you think the president should use the term Islamic terror?
Yes.
Why do you think he doesn't?
I don't know.
It's Islamic terrorism, right?
Well, it is terrorism that comes out of the Islamic culture.
Look at these people tripping all over themselves. Is it Islamic terror? Well, it's terror, and it comes out of the Islamic culture, but I wouldn't call it Islamic terror, huh? I'm telling you, folks, this is the lunacy. The lunacy. Michael Savage says liberalism is a mental disorder. I think you're seeing some of it right here. They're defining it as Islamic terror, but they won't say the phrase Islamic terror. It's as if they're incapable of it. Here's more.
What he's trying to talk about is these are extremists, terrorists, and we need to fight them. But I think he's looking at a bigger audience when he doesn't want to say that they're, identify them all the time as Islamic terrorists.
What you do by calling it Islamic terrorism is you legitimize the fact that it's connected to a religion. And what he is saying is this: they use the religion as a veil, as a cloak.
Well, I think certainly part of it is because I think it demonizes Islam.
We go into trying to be fair and being able to embrace all peoples. So
yeah. So they have no explanation. Do you hear how ridiculous they are trying to explain what their fearless leader Barack Obama lives by? Is that it's not Islam, it's not Islamic, it's not a religion, it's a perversion. And again, I don't know how many of these people are Islamic. I know the president's not Islamic. He tells us he's a Christian, right? How can a Christian tell others who are practicing Islam that they're not practicing Islam? Just doesn't fly. One more.
So you'd probably call it radical Islamic terrorism.
I would call it radical terrorism for people that also happen to be Islamic.
It's the same thing whether it's Christianity or Aboriginal beliefs or anything else. You can have radical polarized beliefs, but at the same time you have to also identify that that's only maybe 0.5% of the actual population, and that maybe isn't considered the full radical side. So whether it's the GOP side with the Tea Party, etc., right, you have to take into consideration of what the actual percentage of the majority of that side's saying.
All right, this brain surgeon is comparing how many and Islamists that follow, Muslims who follow radical Islam, to Republicans who follow the Tea Party. That's brain surgery. Your Newsmax Now update is next.